The Word is there, but it's total roadside. It never doesn't get lost from the mind because it never got in the mind. The Word is present, but Satan, by means of a baby or distractions, snatches the Word out of their heart. And sometimes it's going to be necessary for an individual to deliberately cut out the distraction if they're actually going to hear the Word. It doesn't matter whether it's a cold draft on your neck from an open window. It doesn't matter whether it's a noisy air conditioner. It doesn't matter whether it's too warm at church. It doesn't matter if there's a child on the seat ahead of you. It doesn't matter if you don't like the hat of the woman who sits next to you, or children who are distracting you. Anything, friends, anything which keeps the Word of God from ever getting into your mind at all constitutes the roadside, hard surface, and the birds get it. And Jesus said that Satan is represented by the birds. Just pick up immediately. The second kind of soil is this ledge of rock, and the soil on top of it is thin. I lived, the only year I ever taught rural school, I lived with a very shrewd Irish farmer in the state of Kansas. And he was interested in buying land, and the farm to the west of him was for sale. And I asked him one day why he did not buy it. He said, "You see on the far side of the creek?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, over there," he said, "if you were to plow that ground," he said, "the plowshare would scrape rock 4.5 inches down." He said, "There is no depth there." And he said, "Even though you get a crop started," he said, "there's not enough subsoil there to feed the moisture up and finish your crop." That's exactly what Jesus is talking about, that the soil is too shallow, and it starts quick because the rock absorbs the heat of the sun, makes a perfect germination bed, and the wheat or the grain starts. But when the sun hits it, over it goes. And what he's talking about here is people, they just love to go to church. They love to go to the coffee house. They love to have the fellowship until something wilts it. A man whose children attended my Sunday school years ago in Minnesota told me he came, but I could never get him to make another start. He'd gone to church when he was about 13 years of age. His mother was a Christian. His father definitely was not. And he gave his heart to the Lord at this church service. And he came home all enthusiastic about what God had done for him that night. And he bounced into the house, flung it open, and he said to his father and mother, "I got saved tonight." And his father said, "Huh, so you've gone crazy too," he said. And the boy just wilted. The boy just wilted. And from that day until he was a grown man with 2 children, he never did really give his heart to God and go on with the Lord. He was like this shallow soil. It just went over. Now, the third kind of soil here actually, I think, represents more of us than any other of these other two. There are plenty of people who never hear the truth because they're not paying attention, or they sleep through it, or whatever. And there are plenty of people who are shallow and don't stick by their decisions. But there are more people who are good soil, but there's too much competition. There isn't time. They're too busy. There's competition. There's all kinds of other things which erode their time. And what it says here is this, that the cares of the world, paying the rent, paying the groceries, paying the car, paying the gas bill, and the delight in riches, trying to get ahead in the world, and the desire for other things, these enter in and they choke the word. They crowd it out, and it proves unfruitful. Now we come, after all, to a fourth type. Those that were sown upon the good soil are the ones who hear the Word of God and accept it. Now we trust that you've taken your notes and you're now ready to take our TV Bible exam, which is coming right up. True or false? Jesus verified that the story of Jonah and the whale was accurate.
said, "For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, When the man told Jesus that his mother and brothers were outside asking for him, what was his reply? Jesus stretched out his hand to his disciples and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers, for whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." True or false? The teachings of Jesus were stricter than the teachings of the Old Testament. The answer, true. The purpose of a parable is to teach A, one central truth, or B, several meanings. The purpose of a parable is to teach A, one central truth. In the parables of Jesus, the punchline or meaning came A at the beginning, B in the middle, or C at the end. In the parables of Jesus, the punchline or meaning came C at the end.